Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm KeylowK and today we're going to be rating the PURE Mage. This build is created by Drunk Souls. As always, I'll be going over the pros and cons of this build and giving my opinions on it. If you don't know who Drunk Souls is, then I suggest you go check his channel out. That should come up on screen right here. This content creator specializes in Elden Ring builds to do with PvP invasions. He also does some how-to guides about PvP invasions and so much more. Drunk Souls also streams on YouTube as well, so if that sounds like your thing, then go check his channel out, and while you're there, go drop him a sub or go check out his content. I know he would appreciate that. As always, before we jump into the content, I'll give you all a quick overview of how we judge the builds we rate. Let's get it! This is just a quick overview before we jump into the content. We rate builds on three things: drip, how fresh does this build look; PvE, how much damage this build can produce, and how well does it work against enemies and bosses in the game; and PvP, how well does this build work against other players. Each section gets a score from 1 to 10 and the build gets an overall score of 30. Before we get into the content, I just want to say that I don't have any agendas or ill intent on any creators' builds that I rate. I thought this was a really fun idea to bring to life, and I have the utmost respect for all creators on this platform grinding it every day to create content for us to enjoy. Anyways, that's enough for this part. Let's get into the content. In all honesty, my first impressions of this build is that this build looks fresh. I like the look of this build a lot. It's not your typical mage looking build, which I actually find uniquely interesting. This is the equipment on this build. We have the Carrion Knight's helm, the Royal Knight's armor, gauntlet and greaves. The little details for this looks awesome and makes this armor set look very sophisticated compared to some other armor in the game. With its intricate design on the greaves, gloves, armor and helm. The blue cape is cool as well in my opinion, and the two mage staff really match the overall aesthetic. The weapons on this build are Lusat's glintstone staff plus 10. This staff has more scaling for more FP consumption each magic use, and Azure glintstone staff. This staff increases your cast speed by just having it in your hand. The only thing I dislike is probably the pointy thing on the helm, but that's just me. It's not really a big issue. Some people may like the look of it, so with that being said, I am going to give this a 0 out of 10. I'm only joking, I'm joking. I am going to give this a 8 out of 10 for good. On to the next one. For the starting class of this build, it is the Prisoner. This is an intelligence build. The talismans on this build are the Graven Mass and Graven Skull talismans, Godfrey's icon, and the last is Radagon's icon. For the spells on this build, we have the Carrion Slicer and Piercer, Gavel of Heimer, Swift Glintstone Shard, Comet, Star Shower, Cannon of Heimer, and Zamor Ice Storm. Well, that was a mouthful.
That's what she said.
And the Physic is running the Crimson Bubble tier and the Wind Crystal tier. With everything being said, this build is level 168 and all the stats should come up on screen here. So that's enough of this, and let's go have some fun. Let's get it. So I thought I'd do a dungeon boss really, just to try change things up. This I thought it would be funny, just to spam Swift Glintstone Shard to try beat a boss, and quite frankly, it worked. Here I wanted to test out majority of the spells. The damage for the hammer is pretty good. The damage is not bad. Damn, I got hit. Oh, let's go. Cannon does alright damage. Star Shower. Ice Storm. I got hit. Sheesh. That's pretty good. I wanted to see how this would do against the Putrid Avatar. The avatars are quite strong, so yeah. I was wondering if I could just get away with using Pew Pew. Nice. It does pretty good damage, not gonna lie. And then if you spam it, you know, it all just adds up. I felt like I should have got hit. Out of the way. I should have got hit there. Out of the way. Just roll back. Keep thinking. Can we make it? I got hit. This is something that I miscalculated, and it was going up against Renala because she has magic resistance. So what I thought I would do here is that I would showcase all the spells just to show you, like, you know, you will have a little bit of trouble if you get all the stuff early. So yeah. Granted too, I'm at level 168. It really goes to show that the magic resistance on her is really, really strong. She's not really taking much damage, but in the end, it is still doable, you know? This is basically how you gotta do it, is just using carry and slicer. Just chop her up. And in the end, we'll end up getting her. So yeah.
Little Rani, my dear daughter.
This is a solid PvE build that focuses on using the Carrion Slicer and the Swift Glintstone Shard. These spells are cheap to cast, making them very effective against a variety of enemies. The build also has decent poise, which helps to prevent it from being staggered. The main downside to the build is that it requires careful management of FP, as many of the spells are quite costly. However, this is a small price to pay for the build's overall effectiveness. Overall, I give this build an 8 out of 10 for PvE. It is a powerful and versatile build that is well suited for PvE. Let's get it. As Yugimoto says,
it's time to duel!
As usual, we do our emotes. This guy starts running up to me, I guess. I try to do the piercer. I hit him with the slicer. I notice that he gets staggered. I get hit. And back and forth, trying to figure each other out. And I just decided to go all in. And I get the winning blow. GG's. Since he buffed himself, I thought I'd buff myself. I get out of the way. I do the hammer, and then he got hammered. I thought I could get him with the piercer. I guess not because of latency. This reminded me of a Japanese samurai fight, how they run at each other and then they both clash with swords and hit, and one of them falls down. This prick forgot to emote to me, so I thought, stuff it, we're just gonna chase you. Come on. thought I might have been able to get him with the piercer. I was hoping they would roll so I could roll catch. The good thing about the hammer is that it has hyper armor, so it's good for trading as well. This guy thought he was good with the 2 spears because this guy has a meta build for PvP, and it really goes to show that this build, it can take on PvP builds as well. I thought if I could use pew-pews, he would back away. I believe if he had have kept being aggressive, he kept following me down, he would have won, but he decided to do this. So it gave me enough chance to drink a flask. Oh, he got me. And this is where we just start roll catching him. GG's. Oh, it's Melania. That's a pretty nice thrust.
Raising.
I wanted to see what she could do.
Hey, phrasing!
I decided to just go for it, just to see how she would react. GG's. I thought I would try Cannon of Heimer, just to see what it was like. And I'm surprised that I got it. I did the Ice Storm just so that person could back away, and decided to try roll catch, and GG's. Golden Combatant has left combat. I'm starting to catch on to these guys. I don't bother emoting until I see my opponent's emote. This guy tried to rush me. He even has the Bull Goat's armor on. I do the Carrion Piercer, and I did the Piercer again, and GG's. And just for that, I decided to be toxic. But in saying that, I did get some losses, so here we go. And I also made a friend, which was this Guts build. Now on to the PvP outro. This is a beast of a PvP build that is packed with versatility. The Carrion Slicer and Piercer are your go-to attacks, while the Swift Glintstone Shard is your long-range option. Zamor Ice Storm is a useful distraction tool, especially when you're low on FP. The biggest highlight of this build, it has to be its versatility. You have tools for every situation, from close range to long range. The only downside is that you need to manage your FP carefully and be comfortable using the D-pad to switch spells quickly. Overall, I give this build a 9 out of 10 for PvP. It's a powerful and versatile build that is well suited for competitive play. So let's go over the pros and cons that actually matter so you can make your mind up if this build is the right fit for you. So I'll point out the biggest highlight this build has, and that's how versatile this build is. It has an answer for every situation you face in PvE and PvP. If you get surrounded by enemies, you have 2 AoE attacks. If you are in close quarters fights, then use the Carrion Slicer. And if you want to fight someone from a distance, then use your pew-pews. The poise on this build is not bad either, meaning it won't get staggered as easily as other mage builds would. So that's definitely a plus. For the cons, some of the other spells can take up a lot of FP, so just be wary of that. You need to use the D-pad often. You can say my intelligence stats are not on the high end like this build, but that's probably more of a me issue than anything. The biggest con to this is probably in PvE. When you come across bosses and they are resistant to magic, your spells will still work, they just won't be effective like normal, so that's something worth mentioning. The last one is you need to think quickly and play smart with this build. And we're off to the scoring board to get the final score. For drip, I gave this a 8 out of 10. For PvE, I also gave this a 8 out of 10. And for PvP, I gave this a 9 out of 10, which gives this a total score of 25 out of 30. In my opinion, this build is almost a perfect build. I had so much fun with this in PvP than I did in PvE, but that's just me. This build easily suits beginners, intermediate, and advanced players. Would I play this again for PvE? Yeah, I definitely would. If you're wondering if I would play this for PvP, then hell yeah. This is such a fun build when it comes to PvP, and I think everyone should play this build at least once. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the content. Give this channel a like and subscribe if you would like to see more content like this, and if you disagree or agree with anything, then let me know in the comment section. If you did like this video, then you're probably gonna like the next one, which will show up on the screen right here. Anyways, everyone have a blessed day or night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!